The Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming 3 is a 15.6-inch budget gaming laptop. Like many gaming laptops in its price range, it offers alternatives with strong CPU and capable GPU performance but makes concessions in other areas to keep costs down. Our unit comes with AMD Ryzen 5 5600H processor, 8GB of DDR4 RAM, 512GB of solid-state drive, an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3050 graphics processing unit, a Wi-Fi 6, and Bluetooth 5.2 wireless connectivity options. Before we go further, if you like the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and the link for this laptop is available in the description below, so make sure to check it out for more details and the current price. Design-wise, the Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming 3 is uncomplicated and unadorned. Although its angular design lends it a certain gamer look, it is otherwise plain and blends in well in a workplace setting. It only comes in the color combination of shadow black and is made entirely of plastic, along with vents on the bottom and sides of the laptop. The speakers are located on the bottom. The build quality of the Lenovo IdeaPad 3 Gaming is excellent. Despite being made completely of plastic, it feels sturdy, with little to no flex in the keyboard deck and only a little in the display. Although the finish doesn't scratch easily, the plastic doesn't have a luxury feel, and it does absorb oil from handling. The Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming 3's hinge is okay, although there is a slight amount of screen wobbling when using the laptop on an uneven surface or aggressively typing. The laptop opens and closes smoothly and is solid. It is reasonably portable to use the Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming 3. Although not particularly large, it is quite heavy at 4.96 pounds or 2.24 kilograms. The power adapter, on the other hand, is fairly small and readily tucks into most luggage. The Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming 3 has a great keyboard. It feels spacious and has a fairly standard layout, so it doesn't take long to get used to typing on it. The keys are stable and have a lot of travel and don't require much force to actuate. The touchpad, on the other hand, tracks all movements and gestures well. The click mechanism feels mushy, and you can only click towards the bottom of the touchpad. There are no issues with palm rejection or actions like dragging and dropping. The Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming 3 has a good port selection. Its USB-A ports support only USB 3.2 Gen 1 data transfer speed of up to 5 gigabits per second. Its single USB-C port also supports USB 3.2 Gen 1 data transfer speed, and you can only use it for data, meaning you can't use it to charge the laptop or output a video signal to an external display. The webcam of the Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming 3 produces a respectable image with accurate color reproduction and exposure. However, because of its poor resolution, it is somewhat noisy and loses the majority of the tiny details. Background noise is minimally picked up by the microphone, and voices are audibly clear and loud. When closed, the privacy cover also stops the webcam and microphone from recording sounds. With a 1080p 120Hz IPS display on the Lenovo IdeaPad 3 Gaming, images and text nevertheless appear rather clear because the pixel density is respectable for this resolution and screen size. While its 16:9 aspect ratio is fantastic for gaming and movie consumption, it feels a little too short for productivity, requiring more scrolling while reading a web page or paper. 120Hz panel displays a fairly clear image in fast-moving content, but it has a slow response time, causing noticeable blur trails behind moving objects. In addition, the 120Hz panel doesn't get bright enough to combat glare, so it's best to avoid using it in a well-lit environment or outdoors in broad daylight. The brightness is also inconsistent, as the top corners are dimmer than the center of the screen. If you like viewing content in the dark, the screen gets very dim to help reduce eye strain. The Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming 3 has a poor color gamut. Most content has dull and washed-out colors because it doesn't even fully cover the widely used sRGB color space. So it's inadequate for strictly color-accurate content creation, since it offers very little coverage of the larger color spaces. In terms of performance, our model is configured with AMD Ryzen 5 5600H processor, which is a high-power processor typically found in gaming laptops and mobile workstations and can handle demanding workloads like gaming, video editing, and 3D animation. The Ryzen 5 5600H has 6 cores and 12 threads, which means significantly more power when playing games or multitasking. The NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3050 has an excellent score, making it suitable for intensive tasks like video editing and 3D animation. The RTX 3050 can get you around or slightly above 60 frames per second in graphically demanding games at high settings, and here are the playable games with their respective frame rates. You can configure the Lenovo IdeaPad 3 Gaming with additional memory, so you need to make sure to get 16 GB of memory in dual channel mode to get the most performance out of the CPU and GPU. It's best to opt for 16 GB for the best gaming experience. 8 GB isn't enough, which impacts performance significantly on AMD Ryzen systems. You can expect to get 512 GB of solid-state drive, which is common at this price range. If battery life is a huge concern for you, then we do not necessarily recommend this laptop for you. The battery on this model can only last 6 hours of web browsing or 5 hours in video playback. In terms of upgradability, the 2 SODIMM slots for memory upgrades are covered by a metal shroud. They function in dual channel mode and fit DDR4 RAM sticks. 2 M.2 PCIe X4 slots and a 2.5-inch SATA disk bay are available for storage. Thankfully, all of the mounting accessories and the connector are provided inside the box. The speakers on the Lenovo IdeaPad 3 Gaming are good, with a lot of attention on the high mid frequencies to highlight voices and lead instruments. They sound rather realistic and well balanced. However, they don't have a lot of basses or treble extension, making spoken content a better fit for them than music or movies. The sound quality doesn't significantly worsen at the maximum level, despite the fact that they don't get extremely loud. Before we conclude, we must mention why you should and shouldn't buy this laptop. Buy if you want a well-built laptop. Buy if you want a gaming laptop that can handle a demanding workload. Buy if you want a keyboard that feels great to type on and doesn't cause fatigue. Buy if you want a decent webcam video quality for video calls. Buy if you want a 120Hz refresh rate with FreeSync support. Buy if you want a user upgradable memory and storage drive. Buy if you want a laptop with minimal CPU and GPU throttling under heavy load. Buy if you want a flicker-free backlight that helps reduce eye strain. Don't buy if you don't want a laptop that lasts less than 5 hours at video playback. Don't buy if you don't want a display that doesn't get bright enough to combat glare. Don't buy if you want a highly portable device. Don't buy if you want your USB-C to support charging or video output. Don't buy if you don't want a loud fan under load. Don't buy if you do strictly color-accurate content creation. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe.